Welcome back to Susan Dawn at Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy update. I'm going to try to get this reading in before the fireworks start. It is July 4th. Happy July 4th to those in America who celebrate. We have fireworks that are going off all around us, but looks like we have a little bit of a lull. I'm going to try to get this reading in because I want this to be available for you. We also have a new moon in Cancer. There's a lot that's happening astrologically. What we're going to do is we're going to start this reading with some channeling. Some channeling that I have done prior to this reading. We're going to go a little bit more in depth. What's happening astrologically? So we have the new moon in Cancer, which is water energy, and we also have Neptunian energy that's playing a role in what we might be experiencing now. Neptune is retrograde until December. Neptune is a planet of spirituality and transcendence. Again, it's a very watery energy. So if you feel like you have heightened emotions, if you feel like you are having trouble navigating those emotions, if you feel really wibbly wobbly, it might be because of the water energy, especially if you have a lot of water energy in your chart. I'm actually hearing lean into that water energy. Lean into, rather than trying to circumvent the water energy by going to the woods and doing some grounding, etc. Yes, absolutely make sure that you're doing grounding. But what I'm actually hearing is lean into the water energy, because those emotions are trying to show you something. Those emotions that are coming up to the surface are coming up for that healing. And that's what Neptune retrograde is really all about. Lessons coming back around for that higher level of learning, for that higher level of awareness, for that shift in consciousness. So rather than trying to suppress it, rather than trying to ignore it, rather than trying to avoid it, allow yourself to lean into it and do that inner work. If you are feeling balanced, if you have done a lot of that inner work, and you might be feeling more of this peaceful energy, this energy also feels like you're very much going with the flow. And that's for those of you who are feeling that peace, who are feeling that balance. There is no competition. I'm going to remind you, there is no better or worse with regards to your journey. Your journey is personal to you. So please, whatever path that you're on, whatever it is that you're experiencing, hold that compassion for yourself. Do not judge yourself. Do not criticize yourself. We have all been there at different places in our journeys. I say that because there are those of you who have reached out to me really having difficulties over the past week or so with regards to your journey, really struggling with your journey. And I hope that I've been able to hold that space for you and be there for you. And I hope that this reading is able to be there for you too. I am running a workshop this Sunday, July 7th. It's called the Sacred Union Empowerment Session. It's a soul session workshop. It's available on my website at susandonspiritual.com/workshops. I'll put a link in the description box. It's for those who are finding yourself struggling, who are finding yourself maybe in a period of waiting, maybe in a period of stagnant energy, maybe in a period of like a void-like energy. This Sacred Union Empowerment Session came about, I got the download to do it just last week. And I was trying to figure out how to schedule it and when to schedule it. And we're just going to go for it on Sunday. It'll be recorded, so if you're not able to attend it live, then you can get the replay and watch it back. The Sacred Union Empowerment Session, I feel, is going to be important in order to find your joy again. That's the purpose of this session, to find your joy in the journey, to empower yourself for your journey. You are not helpless to this journey. You are not powerless to this journey, especially when it comes to this twin flame, counterpart, sacred partner connection, whatever it is that you want to call it. This journey is yours, and it is meant to be filled with love. It is meant to be filled with peace. It is meant to be filled with joy. Now, we might not have experienced that because we were kind of going through that friction stage. We're going through the major healing and the major upsets and the tower moments, etc. But we're meant to continue to ascend that. We're meant to continue to shift and transform that. And so the Sacred Union Empowerment Session is meant to call you back to your power, to bring joy back to your journey, to bring peace to your journey. So if you'd like to join me, there will be more information in my newsletter. Make sure you're signing up for my mailing list on my website as well as my social media. I will have that information on Friday. Or you can go directly to my website and sign up and get more information there. So I say that because there are also those who are feeling very at peace and feeling very balanced. And those are the ones who are actually holding the space for the collective, who are experiencing maybe the wibbly wobblies. That's this Neptunian energy too, and that's where I'm healing. If you're feeling that peace, if you're feeling that joy, if you're feeling that sense of empowerment, then the Neptunian energy for you is go with the flow of it. Lean into the water energy, go with the flow. Neptune energy is also deepening intuition, especially when it comes to relationships. And that's what Neptune retrograde is going to really bring to the forefront as well. Seeing beyond the veil, seeing beneath the surface of the 3D, especially when it comes to situations and circumstances. What we learn on this journey, one of the core tenets of this journey, is that what you're experiencing and seeing the 3D is not everything there is. There's always more than meets the eye. And what we have to learn, one of the skills that we put into practice, is seeing the energy beyond the surface layer, seeing the energy beyond what might be playing out in the 3D. Your connection, for example, might look like it is upside down, inside out. It might look like you're having tower moments. But when you go through your ascension process, when you go through this metamorphosis, when you really allow this shift in consciousness, you see things from a new perspective. You see things from the soul's perspective, from the energetic perspective. And you guys can't see my hands, but I'm going like this. I talk with my hands. I'm Italian. I can't help it. When I go like that, I'm going like this off camera. And that's what it feels like. It feels like expansive because you're seeing it from that higher perspective. You're seeing it from that bird's eye view. You're understanding that up close, things might look very chaotic. Things might look very separatist, very divisionary. Things might look very, like there's a lot of tower moments. Things might look like upside down, falling apart, all this stuff, right? And that's where it might bring up some emotions. You're meant to lead into those emotions, not to succumb to them, not to dwell on them, not to fall victim to them. That's where your empowerment is. You're not powerless to your emotions. You're not helpless to your emotions, but you observe those emotions. What are they trying to show you? What are they trying to tell you? And what is this situation catalyzing you to these emotions? And let me put it this way. That was not grammatically correct at all. What is the situation showing you emotionally? Let's put it that way. What is the situation showing you emotionally? Or what are those emotions showing you about the situation? No, they want me to say it backwards. What is this situation trying to help you heal? What is it bringing up emotionally for you to heal? Because situations and circumstances and experiences, they come about for a purpose. It's not just willy-nilly. We know that now, right? They happen for a reason. Tower moments, they happen for a reason. They happen for the breakthrough. What is the breakthrough? What is it trying to show you? So become an observer of your emotions. Allow yourself to feel your emotions and feel the full gamut of your emotions. You don't have to deny any aspect. Being a spiritual person does not mean bypassing whatever it is that you're feeling. It doesn't mean bypassing feeling anger. It doesn't mean bypassing feeling grief or anger, or or sadness, or whatever it is that you're feeling. Being a spiritual person means that you allow yourself to also be human and feel your emotions, but you don't hook into them. You don't hold on to them. You become an observer because you know that you're more than your emotions. You see that there's more that's happening beyond the surface of whatever circumstance or whatever experience or situation is triggering those emotions, right? So that's also what Neptune retrograde is going to be doing. It's going to be showing you a next level of consciousness, maybe some cycles coming back around again for that higher level of learning, so you can really affirm for yourself, okay, there's more here. It's not just a circumstance. It's not just the situation. It's not just the experience. There is more that I'm learning here. There's something that I'm being called to transcend here. There's something that maybe I didn't see before, or maybe I didn't own before, or maybe I didn't understand before. It's a next level. So it might be coming back around again for that next level. This is healing and shifts. It's a closing off of cycles. Again, that coming back around energy. But you're really being called to look beyond the surface, to look beyond the situation and the circumstances that's being presented in the 3D, and see from the soul's perspective, see from that bird's eye view, see from the higher lens of your ascension journey, what actually is being shown to you. And also, to that end, tune into your intuition. Your intuition is your barometer. Your intuition is your navigation center. So tune into the intuition for what is real, what is true, what you're feeling. Not feeling emotionally, but feeling from that higher self. What is your higher self telling you about the circumstances and the situations? Because again, an old version of yourself, an old version of consciousness is looking at the situation at face value. This is happening. And that's it. The higher level of consciousness that you have ascended to through your ascension journey, through your spiritual awakening, is saying, okay, this is happening, but what's also happening? What's happening energetically? What is this teaching me? What is this showing me? What is this triggering for me? And the triggering is where the healing happens, right? So it's looking beneath the surface. It's not just what's happening in the 3D as an experience. It is what is also happening from the soul's perspective. What am I learning? How am I evolving? How am I growing from this experience? The other thing that I was getting from this Neptune retrograde, or this Neptunian energy, is greater spiritual authenticity. So again, no more bypassing, no more division, no more separate energy. This is all about unity consciousness. And an embodiment of integrity. So over these next couple of months, I've channeled for the 2024 year ahead that this year is all about authenticity and community. And so over this next couple of months, what we're really going to see is a greater spiritual authenticity. So anything or anyone who is not in their integrity and embodying that integrity, it's going to be shown in a number of different ways, in many different ways, but it's going to be shown. It could even be you. It could even be that you're being shown, okay, this is where I'm still not being my authentic self. It could be subtle shifts. It could be part of a process. But as a greater collective, the planetary collective, anything that is not authentic is going to be kind of crumbling, going to be fading away, because it's all about authenticity now and embodying that authenticity, embodying that integrity. Okay, and what I want you to do is really tune into the energy. The most important lesson that you could ever learn on your ascension journey, that your counterpart has catalyzed you to. You might be on the sacred union path of ascension, but it's still an ascension journey. It's still a spiritual awakening that you're going through. That's the journey that you're going through. Your counterpart is your greatest teacher. Your counterpart is your greatest catalyst for that, because of the unconditional love that they hold for you, right? I talk about that in my book, The Unity Code, which is going to be available everywhere in October, but you can pre-order it on my website or wherever retailers you like. But that's what this is all about. It's about unity consciousness. And so anything that is creating separation within yourself or within the world, anything that is not connected to unity consciousness is going to be kind of fading away. Because it's all about that authenticity now, for yourself, for others, and again, embodying that integrity. The other thing that I was getting is manifestations of new frequencies, and I've had to take a moment and say, okay, what does that actually mean? Because that was the specific phrase that I channeled. Manifestations of new frequencies means from the new energy that you're holding, the shift in consciousness that you have attained, and will continue to. You will continue to shift in consciousness. But this next level of yourself, you have shifted your actual energy. You have shifted your actual frequency. Your frequency has risen. That's part of a shift in consciousness. Your actual frequency changes. And so you're going to be manifesting from that new frequency. And that could mean anything. That could be greater abundance, financial security. That could mean better relationship dynamics. I'm actually seeing that in my life, in my family relationship dynamics, which were always pretty good, but there was also some dysfunction, as any family has, right? And I actually said to one of my family members about another family member, I'm like, who is he? Who is he? He feels like he has changed completely over the past year. And it's because your energy actually is going to impact everybody around you. Your shift in consciousness is actually going to help raise the consciousness of everybody around you. And that as they shift in consciousness, that's going to have an impact on their circle and everybody around them. Everything has a ripple effect, everything is interconnected. So as you raise in consciousness, your circle is going to raise in consciousness as well. And as your circle raises in consciousness and shifts in frequency, they're going to impact their circles as well. Do you see how everything is interconnected? And so, relationship dynamics, I'm also seeing receiving, being able to receive. That was always the hardest thing for me, is being able to receive. But all of a sudden, every year in January, I write a list of everything that I want. I did that last year. Put my spiritual pilgrimage to Europe on that list last January, and all of a sudden, I didn't know how it was going to be possible. I thought, oh, this is just kind of like a pipe dream. But all of a sudden, here I am booking a plane ticket to Europe. It manifested. I not just manifested, but I created it. The universe, meeting me to make that creation part of my physical reality. That's the level that you are manifesting out now. It is very natural. It's not something that you have to completely focus on all the time. You don't, you can make a vision board to remind yourself, or write down, in a book, like I do, everything that I want, that I want to create, or that I want, even silly things. I think I had mentioned, I don't remember. I had mentioned that I want, oh, this guy. I've been wanting this guy for years. This is my hockey mascot, the hockey team that I like. I think I shared that with you on Instagram or in other readings, how our hockey team won 2 back-to-back championships, our local AHL team. I've been wanting that bear for 3 years. And I just never got it for myself, because I said, oh, we know when the time is right, I'll get it. And someone actually bought that for me. So allowing yourself to receive, allowing your manifestations to come true in a very natural way. Not that you're focusing on it, not that you're hyper focused on it. Manifestation becomes a more organic process, because your energy is such that you are able to receive and give. I was just talking to one of my coaches, because I have a spiritual business coach as well, who helps me to shift and helps me, see my blind spots, who's a mentor to me. And I was just talking to her about how one of my biggest dreams is being a philanthropist. There is nothing I want more than to be able to give back, and give back in high qualities. And I have an ability to do that now, not just in services, but I had an overabundance on a card, and I was able to order things for a rescue, our local homeless shelter. Because I had that overabundance, I was able to give back. And I was saying to myself, I was saying to my coach, I said, that's something that I always want to do. I want to be a philanthropist. And she said, well, you already are. Do you see that this overabundance enabled you to be what it is that you want to be? And here I thought that was a far off dream. Here I thought I had to be, a Taylor Swift in order to be able to give back to the level that I want. But I'm already doing it. I'm already doing it in how I give back in my services, how I give back in my energy, but also now I'm able to move into a way that I can give back in the way that I want, in a tangible form. And that is the most incredible gift for me. And so that's what I mean by your manifestations are going to become much more organic. So stay in tune with yourself. Be recognizing of yourself, of what it is that you have been manifesting and what it is that you're creating now, because you are creating from a higher frequency. Okay? So the new moon in Cancer, we're going to talk about that in the reading. The other thing that I want to mention that might be healing for you right now, that I've personally been experiencing, is healing teenage embodiment. Now, when we talk about inner child healing, when we talk about teenage healing and young adult healing, for example, all these stages of life, we tend to think that it's like memories and experiences that we're actually healing. And yes, that's one phase of our journey, and that might pop up in our journey here and there as we continue to ascend, as we continue to evolve. But what I'm talking about specifically here is the embodiment of those different aspects of yourself. as you heal your inner child, you begin to play more. You renew that sense of wonder, that sense of innocence. You recapture that energy that you once were, right? That's you embodying that inner child. You're still the adult version of you. You're still the mature version of you, but you kind of reclaim that lost, forgotten child is what I'm getting, that child within. And so that's inner child healing on one level, but you begin to embody it. That's inner child healing on another level. What you might be experiencing is a teenage embodiment. Who were you as a teenager? You're reclaiming that aspect of yourself, not necessarily the discovery aspect of your life. You know, although you might be going through that, you might be discovering new likes, new dislikes, etc. You might be going through like a I don't want to call it like a midlife thing because it doesn't really feel like that. It's not a crisis or anything like that, but you might be exploring yourself more, or re-exploring yourself, rediscovering yourself. But this is more along the lines of who were you back then as a teenager that you didn't fully allow yourself to be. And I'm getting especially being seen, being heard. Times when you didn't feel like you were in control of your own life. Now, this is not the rebellion, I need to take control of my life, so I'm going to sneak out of the house and go to a party kind of thing. Because remember, you're still the mature version of you. You're still the adult version of you. But this is recapturing, reclaiming the teenage version of you or the young adult version of you, depending on what you're healing at this time or experiencing at this time. This is the teenage or young adult version of you that, again, it's like, I can be seen. I can be heard. I can explore and feel safe to explore. Explore myself, explore my likes, explore my dislikes, explore the world. Whatever this is, again, for myself, it's well, even the stuffed animal, like wanting the stuffed animal, that feels very much like my teenage self, my childhood and my teenage self kind of merging, to allow myself to want that, to allow myself to enjoy something silly, something very lighthearted, you know? Allowing yourself to have fun. That's what it really is, especially for those of us who grew up being that adult, who grew up with a lot of responsibilities on our shoulders, or who put a lot of responsibilities on our own shoulders, taking care of other people, etc. It's allowing yourself to be the full version of yourself, past, present, and future. It's an embodiment of all. So you might be healing the teenager / young adult aspect of yourself now. Let me know if any of that resonates with you or how that resonates with you. This might be a process that happens over the next month. I'm just getting over July. They show me the calendar of July. So July might be continuing for us. So what we're going to do, we have the new moon in Cancer, again, very watery energy. Let's see what's going on for those in connection. Again, you can take this for your inner masculine and inner feminine. I always suggest you do that as well. It could be what's going on with your physical counterpart, your physical masculine or physical feminine, and the union energies, or this could be what's going on in the global collective when it comes to the feminine and masculine energies, because remember, it's all interconnected. What we experience in our personal sacred union journeys, especially through the ascension process, the sacred union path of ascension, is actually what is happening with the global collective when it comes to the masculine and the feminine polarities. Okay, so I really encourage you guys to take it as a whole, not just for your physical relationships. All right, let's see what's going on for the divine masculine. What's going on for the divine masculine at this time? What's going on for the divine masculine at this time, especially with this new moon energy? What's going on for the divine masculine? I just heard deep in the feels. Deep in the feels. Deep in the feels. That's what I just heard. Deep in the feels. Actually, I always forget to do titles. I'm always at a loss as to what to name these readings. They're always powerful readings, but I feel like the titles I do never do it justice. But it's really important to me not to write clickbait titles. That's just something that has always been one of my values. But deep in the feels, that's something. Okay, what's going on for the divine masculine? There's a lot of introspection that's happening right now. Oh, interesting. Surrender. Yeah. There's a lot of introspection that's going on right now. This actually reminds me of the Hermit card. If you see the way that he's standing, and he's actually, it looks like it's a, oh, that's a she. It looks like it's a monk. it feels like hermit energy. So it feels like they're really going within, deep in the fields. Yeah, deep in the fields, deep in the surrender. We're going to get more on that. Let me pull some more cards for the Divine Feminine. What's going on for the Divine Feminine? The Void. And Union energies, please. Union energies. One card, please. We have attraction. Okay. I'm gonna get some tarot because I feel like this energy is pretty straightforward. And I like that it's straightforward because this feels intentional. It feels like, when I say intentional, I mean it feels like it's very straightforward where we are right now. For the Divine Masculine, it feels like they are very introspective, and I'm hearing that this Cancerian energy is having them really tune into their intuition, really tune into their feelings, again, deep in the fields, really tune into their emotions, really tune into their emotional body. It's bringing a lot up to the surface, and that's where the surrender is coming into being. Asking the masculine to surrender to their emotions, not to succumb to them, like we said earlier, not to become victim to them, not to dwell in those emotions, but to have those emotions kind of shine a light on where they are or where they have been. What are those emotions bringing up to the surface? Why are those emotions coming to the surface? Why are those emotions being experienced? There's a deep sense of introspection that's here right now, and I'm actually getting like there's this guiding light. Again, it's hermit energy. They're being guided. It's almost like they're being guided through the catacombs of themselves, through the hallways of their own heart. It's a very beautiful, poetic kind of energy, really getting guided. And I just keep getting like navigating through the pathways of their heart, where those emotions are. It's, I'm going to share with you with the vision that they're showing me. They're showing me a vision of a masculine that is walking through the pathways or walking through hallways that is actually representative of their heart. And they're approaching, they might approach sadness, they might approach grief, they might approach self-worth issues, they might approach love. And so they're being brought through these pathways, through these hallways, to these emotions, but they're being guided, and they're being asked to really confront and face these emotions and feel these emotions and allow themselves to surrender to them. Now, here's the big difference in what surrender means here. In the past, I feel like this divine masculine would be confronted with sadness or anger or grief or self-worth issues or whatever this is that they're confronting, right? It's like there's this big emotion that is blocking the path forward. And rather than facing it, rather than allowing them to it's like what I'm seeing is like walking through a hallway, and there's a big cloud, and that cloud represents, for example, sadness, grief, anger, self-worth, whatever this is. And so rather than allowing themselves to confront it and continue walking through it, they run away, they avoid, they hide, they resist. And so it just keeps repeating over and over and over. The only way out is through. That's what their surrender is showing them right now. Their surrender is showing them that they have to walk through it. And it's a mist, right? It's not something that's solid. It's something that they can walk through. But for a brief moment, it might feel very overwhelming, because as you walk through a fog or as you walk through a mist, for example, it kind of feels very overwhelming. That fog, that mist surrounds you, right? You don't know where to go. You don't have... it's almost like when you walk through a fog, it's so like you lose your visibility, right? This masculine, that's what they were so afraid of, is what I'm hearing. They were so afraid of losing themselves by allowing themselves to feel, by allowing themselves to confront those emotions. And whatever those circumstances and situations and experiences are linked to those emotions. So it's two parts. It's the emotions themselves and whatever emotions, situations, and circumstances that are linked to those emotions. So now they're actually navigating that. They're actually being guided through that fog, through that mist. And they're not stuck there. That's one of the things that they were afraid of too, that they would be stuck there, that they would feel very overwhelmed, that they would feel very lost, right? I'm actually seeing almost like a little boy in a fetal position, not knowing how to move through those emotions, how to process those emotions, and even how to regulate those emotions. But that's part of spiritual maturity. That's part of what they have been learning. And now, because they're trusting their intuition more, because they're being led from the heart more, because they're connecting to higher power, source, God, whatever that word is for them, and every situation is going to be a little bit different. This is a collective reading. They're having more confidence to be able to confront the emotions that they're feeling. That's part of their surrender. Surrender does not mean submission. Surrender means acceptance. I know I have to walk through this path. I know I have to face these emotions. I know I have to feel whatever it is that I'm feeling. I know I need to go through this in order to come out the other side. And they will come out the other side. Again, it's a very hermit energy. But that hermit energy does not mean that they are like in a cave. It doesn't mean that they're hiding away. It doesn't mean that they are stuck. This hermit energy feels like they are processing something powerful. It feels like they are going through, they're going through their healing. They're going through their healing. Divine Feminines. We're going to switch gears for a minute. Divine Feminines. Back in the void. But this void doesn't feel like it might have a couple of months ago. It doesn't even feel like a void. I feel like okay, this might be split again. We've been experiencing that in the past couple of readings. Two parties here, two different groups. One group, the void might feel a bit heavier. And that's because there's a lot that's coming up that needs to be looked at, observed, that needs to be moved through, healed, cleared, etc. Right? So that void might feel a little bit stagnant. And you're being guided to rest. You're being guided to take a pause. Rather than maybe bypassing it by distracting yourself, you're being guided to sit in the stillness and feel whatever it is that you're feeling, because there's a healing that's happening there. For another group, the void doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't even feel like there's a great healing that's going on. It just feels like there is movement happening behind the scenes, even if you're not experiencing movement in your connection, for example, or in your ascension journey. What this feels like for this group is you are just kind of living your life. You might be working, socializing, creating, traveling, whatever this is. You are just kind of focused on your life, and it's a real feel-good energy. So that's where it doesn't feel like a void. It just feels like you're not so focused on the journey itself. That's where it's kind of like a void for you. You're not so focused on the journey itself, but there's still movement underneath. So for the first group, it might feel a little bit denser, might feel a bit heavier, because there's a lot of emotions that are needed to work through. And that void is asking you to witness yourself. It's asking you to observe the emotions, move through the emotions, heal the emotions, shift the emotions. And by being in the stillness, by allowing yourself to take a pause, that's when you allow the healing to really take place. And so I feel like this group over here, the second group that we were talking about, is holding space for this first group. And that's where that sacred union empowerment session is really going to play a part and be important, because this group over here is experiencing joy and experiencing, kind of a different level of journey, feeling empowered, and that's where they're holding space for those who might be struggling. And together in this workshop, we're going to help lift each other up, and we're going to help empower yourself so that we're going to hold that space so that you can move through those emotions and find joy in your journey. If your journey has felt stuck, if your journey has felt stagnant, if you felt resentment towards your journey, we're going to really empower you to claim your journey as your own again. Okay? So two different groups here, but that's why we're going to come together in the workshop and move through this together. The attraction card in the union space feels like there is this coming together. It feels like there is this more going on beneath the surface again, is what I just heard. More going on beneath the surface. They're pointing me to the 44 number, and what I'm getting from this, 4 is being a number of stability, new foundations being placed. Because the masculine is going through this healing, this surrender, this process, and you are being called to really empower yourself, uplift yourself, find that joy. By being in that energy, you're going to be holding space for your masculine to go through that process. right? You being in your empowerment energy, you living your life as joyfully as possible, being in your peace, being in your passion, being in that happiness and that joy, no matter what your connection looks like, finding that peace, finding that joy, no matter what's going on in your physical connection. If you're not in communication, if you are having troubles, if you are struggling and feeling impatient, whatever it is that you're experiencing, by claiming your empowerment again, claiming your sovereignty, claiming yourself again, claiming your journey again, you're actually going to be raising your frequency, empowering yourself, feeling more lighthearted, feeling more laughter, feeling more joy, feeling more love. That actually has the most significant impact on your connection. And that's what builds the foundation of more stability, of more commitment, of more grounding between the two of you. So there's a lot that is going on beneath the surface. This attraction card, I'm getting the words quantum entanglement. So one affects the other, right? So divine feminines especially, I'm speaking to you. Rather than looking at what your masculine is doing for what you should be doing, you lead. You lead yourself. You lead your way. That's your inner masculine, right? Your inner masculine. Focus on your journey. Focus on your joy. Focus on what you're manifesting, what you're creating. Focus on what you have in your present life. If your masculine, for example, is not in your life, or if they are in your life and it's not looking the way that you desire, focus on what you do have in your life. Your friends, your family, your work, if you're passionate about your work especially, hobbies, interests. Focus on the abundance in your life because you have it. You do have abundance in your life versus looking at the lack. Don't focus on the lack. Don't focus on what is missing. Focus on what is here and keep tuned into the energy of what is here. And that is going to have the greatest impact because of that quantum entanglement energy. So there is an energy that is moving beneath the surface of your unions. You might not be able to see it yet, but there is your energy, especially divine feminines, is impacting the energy of your connection and creating more stability and more foundation for that. It's attracting you to each other. Okay? So again, if you are in that first group, divine feminines, if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, resentment, even anger, whatever it is that you're feeling about your journey, if it does not feel like peace, make sure that you're checking out our Sacred Union empowerment session because we're going to try to get you back on that path to feeling really empowered about your journey and about your life. Okay? All right, let's get some more. I'm going to use this deck of cards and see what else is going on for this connection. What's going on for the divine masculine? Thank you. The Fool. Yeah. They're at the precipice. We channeled that phrase. I don't know if it was the last reading or a couple of readings ago. On the precipice, that's what it feels like. I feel like that might have been for the masculine actually. I feel like divine feminines, you might have been on the precipice of something too, but divine masculines have been on the precipice. That's part of their process. That's part of their journey. Their journey, their process is still proceeding. Remember, this is not a once and done thing. You know, and even though we're doing readings and these are timeless readings, all these readings piggyback on each other. They build on each other, right? The readings that I do, how I channel, it's not separate. It's not separate. If you're part of this collective, if you're resonating with these readings, then they're going to build on each other because it is a process. The journey is a process. And so I feel like they're going through this process on the precipice of this change. And I'm also hearing with the Ace of Wands on the precipice of taking action. Now, action is twofold. Action can be a very physical action, which we've been channeling for the past couple of readings. Making changes, making decisions, making new choices. For example, they could be doing something to gain greater financial stability, like making new choices as far as like a new job or quitting a job, getting a new job, starting a business, whatever that might be. I'm hearing something about a boat. Somebody might actually be selling a boat or it doesn't feel like buying a boat, selling a boat or selling a house or something like that for greater stability, something like that, something about a boat. That might be for one person, but that just came through. But this feels like greater stability. It could be ending relationships. It could be starting new relationships, like friendships, co-working, what's the word? Networking, that kind of thing. There's something new, new seeds being planted and action steps being taken. I'm also seeing somebody sign documents, so this could be new contracts. That could be new energetic contracts coming from a new energy. So as old contracts, energetic contracts fall away, you could be like this is the next level of your ascension journey. So new contracts, new soul contracts, things like that coming to play. Or this could be actual physical contracts, like legal contracts, something like that. So this is something new, taking action. The other message from that is a more spiritual action, a transformation, doing the inner work for that transformation, actually doing the physical inner work. This could be journaling, this could be meditating, this could be consciously connecting in some way, communicating in some way, going to groups or therapies or whatever this is. This feels like some kind of transformation. And remember, the masculines go through their process in a different way than the divine feminines. The divine feminines is a very energetic, spiritual process. The divine masculines is a very physical process where they play things out in their experience, in their physical reality. So this is more along the lines of going to therapy, going to counseling, going to groups, meeting new people of similar interests and similar frequencies through which they'll learn. And that's part of the energetic soul contracts things, like new contracts, new people with who to learn from and learn with, etc., grow with, evolve with, etc. Right? Like soul family stuff coming in. So this is, and everybody is meant to show us something, to teach us, to help us evolve, etc. So this is the next level. So this is part of their transformation. So this feels like part of the process that we've been picking up on for the past several weeks. This feels like a deeper level and layer of that healing, of that evolution, of that growth. As part of that surrender, part of that surrender to their journey, part of that surrender to their ascension and their transformation, that is going to create new actions. That's going to create new choices. The Ace of Wands for me is also a higher level of awakening and a higher level of ascension. So again, this is indicative of that transformation, that metamorphosis, that spiritual awakening, that spiritual ascension that they're going through. So this is all again, piggybacking on the Passover readings. If you haven't checked out the Passover readings, even the pick-a pile, I want to encourage you guys to check out the pick-a pile as well. You can watch that as one whole long reading, or you can go to the pile that you're called to for specific messages. That might have some more information as well for what the master might be going through. But this all is connected. It's all connected. What else is going on for the divine masculine at this time? I'm going to ask about the divine feminine. How are they feeling about the divine feminine? The King of Wands. I immediately got like a very powerful energy coming through here. Let me tune into this energy and see what this is. Very passionate energy. There's the Hermit. See, we talked about the Hermit earlier. There's the Hermit. I feel like they're connecting with you, divine feminines. When I say passionate energy, it doesn't feel... Tell me more about the King of Wands. Give me a second before I say anything. Tell me more about the King of Wands. Okay, Seven of Swords. It doesn't feel sexual. What I like about the Seven of Swords is it feels almost like getting down to the nitty-gritty is the word that I just heard. Getting down to the truth of their feelings. Seven of Swords, if you've been with me on my channel, used to be an energy of self-sabotage and self-deception. This feels like... Okay, I'm gonna channel directly from the divine masculine here because I'm hearing a specific phrase. I'm getting to know my shit. I'm getting to own my shit. So this is a divine masculine that is becoming very clear about themselves, is connecting with themselves on a deeper level. And I feel like as they connect with themselves on a deeper level, really becoming, again, clear, truthful with themselves, being honest with themselves, where they might have deceived themselves and maybe even deceived you in the past, where they might have sabotaged themselves. This is them being very honest, and that's part of this energy. rather than hiding away from those emotions, that cloud of emotions, right? Looking at that as threatening, look at that as overwhelming. So they ran away from it, they hid away from it. This is them confronting themselves. And part of that confronting themselves is getting to know themselves and being truthful with themselves. That's part of the Termite energy. That's part of this introspection energy. Going deep within. Now, as they're doing that, they're feeling more passionate for you. Again, this passion doesn't feel sexual in the sexual way that we know it. When we think of sexual energy, we think of our 3D relationships, right? This is, remember, these connections are soul connections. Feeling deeply connected to you. That's what the passion is. It's feeling deeply connected to you, feeling deeply loved for you, and also feeling deeply loved by you. They're feeling connected to you in ways that are surprising to them, number one, I'm hearing, but in ways that they might not have allowed themselves in the past. It might have been a very sexual connection for them in the past. Not just sexual as in sex, but sexual as in it might have been a very 3D connection for them. Underneath the surface, in their heart, they always felt that it was a soul connection, but they didn't allow themselves to consciously explore that. They didn't allow themselves to consciously experience that. That's where they hid away. That's where they ran away. That's where they avoided. That's where they self-sabotaged. That's where they deceived themselves. That's where even they were deceiving you. Your intuition, Divine Feminine, was saying one thing, and your intuition was probably spot on. And that you knew underneath the surface there was more than meets the eye, that you knew underneath the surface what they were actually feeling for you, because your intuition was actually telling you. But their actions weren't matching the energy that you were feeling, right? That's because they were deceiving themselves. That's because they were sabotaging themselves. That's because they were running away from their own emotions and their own passion and what they were feeling on the soul level, because they weren't aware of themselves. They weren't understanding of themselves on that soul level. That's what's changing here. So this King of Wands feels very passionate. Passionate as in feeling very connected to you and feeling a lot of passion for you. Again, the word passion doesn't do it justice. Passion here means acknowledging the connection, acknowledging the love, acknowledging the depth, acknowledging how the desire, and again, desire even doesn't do it justice, the depth. It's the soul connection. I'm going to put it there because I could spend forever trying to describe this. If you've been with me long enough, you know what I'm trying to say. This is not about the 3D relationship. This is not just a surface level connection. This goes beyond that. So when we're talking about passion, when we're talking about connection, it is that soul bond that you feel intuitively with every fiber of your being at the core of who you are, in the center of your heart. That's what they're beginning to feel. All right, let's see what's going on for the Divine Feminine. What's going on for the current energies for the Divine Feminine? They just said that the Cancer energy is helping with that. I'm going to get a different deck. Deep in the fields. Deep in the fields. All right, Divine Feminine, what's going on with you, Divine Feminine? We have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups. I was just like, wait a minute, didn't we just see that? So Five of Cups, so that's a confirmation. Divine Feminines, let me get a couple more cards and see what's going on here with this Five of Cups. This message is for those of you who are experiencing that void, experiencing that feeling of lack, that feeling of stagnancy, that feeling of maybe even feeling like, what the hell am I doing? This journey isn't going anywhere, nothing's happening, I'm just going through cycles, etc. It's because there does need to be a shift, but that shift occurs within you. Not outside of yourself. It occurs within you first. You see how those two cups are still standing, but you're kind of looking at the three fallen cups? This is the past. The shift has to happen within you. You have to be the one to kind of turn around and see things from a different perspective, and that's what we're going to do in the workshop. We're going to really empower yourself and help you find that joy in the connection again. Find joy in the journey, the connection to yourself, the connection to your inner union, the higher connection. So again, Five of Cups, that might be where you're feeling that void kind of energy because you're focused on the lack, you're focused on maybe the pain, you're focused on the past. That's what needs to really shift. All right, Divine Feminine, what's going on for you, Divine Feminine? Yep, exactly. Five of Cups to the Strength card. This is that empowerment energy. This is what needs to shift, to own yourself, to tame that ego, because that's all that is. It's ego. Ego is just pain patterns and programming of the past that's trying to protect you. It's what I'm just getting is a guarded heart. And you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, I don't have a guarded heart. I've been open and I just keep going through the same cycles. Well, there needs to be a consciousness shift, not just an opening of the heart, but an actual shift in perspective. The way that you're viewing things, the way that you're viewing your connection, perhaps. And again, I want to be really clear that this is not a judgment. This is not a criticism for where you are in your journey. We have all been there. I've been there. I don't ever share or teach or channel from a place of inexperience. I say this because I have been there myself. That there is a shift that needs to take place, and you can't force a shift. It'll come naturally, but that's where we do the work together to help you heal and help you evolve past where you are. That's where you empower yourself to find your strength, that inner strength. And the inner strength isn't just that fighter spirit, like I've got this, that warrior kind of energy. Inner strength is compassion for yourself. Inner strength is love for yourself, loving yourself so much that you are willing to make new choices. You are willing to break patterns. You are willing to have boundaries. You are willing to you're willing to and ready to create a shift and a transformation within yourself and in your life. You've come so far. I'm going to take a moment just to say that even though we're talking about creating a shift here and how a shift is necessary, we do want to acknowledge how far you've come already. You have come so far already, and I know from experience how exhausting this journey can be. But I promise you, there is joy in the journey to be had. Even if your counterpart is not with you in the physical, even if circumstances look dismal or look like nothing's happening or things feel stagnant, whatever it is, there is joy in the journey because you yourself are joy. You yourself are love. You yourself, your life has joy in it. And that's where we're going to tune into. We have to tune into that joy. We have to tune into the love. We have to tune into the abundance that we already have rather than continuing to look at the lack. Okay, so there's a little bit of some tough love energy coming through, but it's coming through with a lot of compassion here for recognition of how far you've already come. Honoring where you are, but knowing that we can create a shift, that you can create a shift. That you have the strength to empower yourself and create that shift for your life, your very life. Okay? All right. And the King of Swords. Yeah, what I like about the King of Swords is clarity. That's what I just keep getting, clarity. Seeing things different, communicating with yourself different, expressing yourself differently, seeing things differently is just like the highlighted phrase here. Shift in perspective, a shift in the way that you see things, a shift in the way that your life is expressed, this journey is expressed. Taking ownership and taking the lead for your life. Not waiting for another person to make those changes, not waiting for another person to feel that joy or feel that love. That comes from within you. That is your inner union. Your inner union is you. Your inner union is part of you. Your union, when it comes to sacred union, your union does not come from another person. It doesn't come, your union is not because your partner is in contact with you. It doesn't come because your partner is communicating with you. Your union is not because of any external factor. Your union comes from feeling that completion, that wholeness within yourself. Your union feels like you're constantly united, like you're one with your counterpart always, despite what the outside looks like. It's very hard to put into words. What that union energy feels like. But it always happens energetically first. It always happens energetically. It's union, you're always in union. Tap into that union energy. Don't look at the outside for evidence, because then you're chasing the external. Your union is within you. That's what the shift is, right? That's what changes everything. Look who just popped out. Oh, the Queen of Cups and the Emperor, yeah. So exactly, it comes from within you. It comes from acknowledging the masculine within you, connecting with the masculine within you. Your masculine is not external. It'll show up in an external partner, right? It shows up in your counterpart, but your counterpart is always part of you, is always with you. We really have to understand and affirm that. How is the divine feminine feeling about her masculine? I'm hearing with the Chariot here, new direction, wanting to go in a new direction. For some, this might be coming out of frustration, and this is something that needs to be looked at and healed, because you might be saying, it might be coming from a place of, I'm done with this journey, I'm going in a new direction, right? But that's pushing your own self away, that's pushing your journey away, that's coming from a place of resentment, right? And that's something that needs to be reconciled. A new direction, for others, if you're not feeling that energy, new direction can be that shift in consciousness, taking ownership, taking charge, taking control, that sense of empowerment, going in a new direction because you're in a new energy. New direction doesn't mean new counterpart. New direction doesn't mean new journey, new relationship, etc. New direction simply means a new energy, new frequency. That's what's going to change your journey. Just got no, so that's going to be it for the divine feminine. Let's see a little bit of guidance. I'm going to use the moon cards. What do we need to know for this new moon in Cancer? What do we need to know for this new moon in Cancer? Emotions are, I'm going to take this as, I wasn't tuned in into the masculine and the feminine, so I'm going to take this overall as overall guidance. Emotions are running high and a fiery climax approaches. Everything that we channeled in the beginning, don't miss those channeled messages. Everything that we channeled in the beginning, this is confirming that. The emotions, that Neptunian energy, that Cancerian energy, plus a fiery climax approaches, that's what this Neptunian energy is, that this retrograde is. It's this coming back around, not only for closure, but for a higher level of spiritual attunement, higher level of spiritual perspective, higher level of spiritual awareness, higher level of ascension, essentially. So with the emotions running high, it's allow yourself to be witness to your emotions. Don't succumb to them. Don't dwell on them. Don't attach to them. Just bear witness to them. Feel your way through them. Observe them. And unhook from them. Allow yourself to feel them and say, okay, I see you, and you allow yourself to release them in healthy ways. If it's crying, allow yourself to cry and grieve. If it's feeling anger, find healthy outlets for that anger. Also allow yourself to ground, but always ground, always make sure that you're staying grounded, but this energy is really fluid. It's really allow yourself to lean into the emotion so that you can really work your way through them. And I feel like that's especially for the masculine. Could be the masculine within you if you're a divine feminine. It could be your masculine that's being activated at this time, your inner masculine, okay? So just be aware of that. Nothing is yet set in stone. I'm getting called to take this as well. That's that manifestation of higher frequencies. Remember, you are constantly creating. That's why it's so important to be very present. Not being forward thinking, not attaching to the past, being very present in the here and the now in your journey, because you are creating from this present moment. This present moment is your point of power. It's your point of creation. And so the energy that you're holding, the perspective that you have, the energy, the frequency that you have right now is what you're creating from and planting new seeds for. So you're always creating. Remember that consciousness is a shift in perspective, in energy, and that shift can take place at any time. Okay? All right, that's going to be it for today's reading. Let me know if it resonates for you, and make sure that if you are interested, you sign up for the Sacred Union Empowerment session. I'm sending you all so much love, so much light, and we'll see you next time.